So it turns out that Forest indeed were screwed over by VAR yet again. Welcome to your latest Forest news. Good morning, good evening, or good night. Hope you guys are doing well, and welcome to your latest Forest news. Coming up on today's episode, we'll talk you through the latest VAR shenanigans, how they've impacted Forest, and what the outcomes are. We'll cover off all the warm weather training over in Dubai as well, and all the other nitty-gritty bits that are going on in and around our beloved club. If you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to FFTV if you are new. Shout out to Jeremy Smith, who becomes the latest of you lovely guys who has backed us over on Patreon. If you want to become a Patreon just like Jeremy does, scan this QR code or click on the link that's pinned in the comment for more exclusive Forest videos and news and chat. All right, let's jump into this. So cast your minds back a couple of games ago. Forest playing Southampton, 3-0 up. Southampton then get a bit of a lucky goal where it deflects, it makes it 3-1. And then Forest go down the other end, a free kick comes in, Milenkovic heads it into Ramsdale, who fluffs it and then just chucks it into the back of his own net. And this was then given as a goal on field. But then, of course, the mighty VAR has to step in and tells the ref to go and check it for a subjective offside decision. He goes across and decides, you know what, if we can screw Forest, we will. And a statement was released there. And this is officially off the match centre of the Premier League. It says 64th minute, VAR has overturned the Forest goal. The referee's call of goal was checked by VAR, who deemed that Wood interfered with play after coming from an offside position. After an on-field review, the referee overturned the original decision and the goal was disallowed. So remember, the key points here is that VAR have to offer this as a subjective offside goal to the referee, who then makes the decision. And they shouldn't really be giving him an I reckon it was this, that, or the other. Now, any of these dubious decisions then go to an independent panel who review the footage and decide whether or not it should or should not have been given a goal. We saw this last year when it happened with Forest away at Everton, when Forest basically could have had 3 penalties. So this has come back now. And the verdict is in. It says Milenkovic disallowed goal. It talks about what happened. Forest were about to go 4-1 up. And it says decision, the VAR advised referee Anthony Taylor, that idiot, to disallow the Forest goal. As striker Chris Wood came from an offside position and impeded the Southampton defender to challenge for the ball. Wood did not touch the ball. And the result of this from the independent panel was an independent panel found that the goal should have been given. Yes, you heard me right, should have been given. So one, I don't know why VAR have recommended the disallowed goal, because my understanding is on a subjective offside goal, it's down to the referee. And secondly, the independent panel has found that Forest should have been given a goal. Now, there's a couple of reasons I bring this up. You might be saying, yeah, Wolfie man, so what? We won 3-2. Yeah, we've been screwed by VAR, but it doesn't matter too much this year because, we're doing so well. Well, my answer to it is we can't keep quiet about the lack of good refereeing and refereeing decisions that we are seeing in the Premier League. Just because we are now fighting at the top of the table and, a decision may not cost us our place in the Premier League this season, it could cost us our place in the Champions League. It could cost us our place winning the title. Who knows? There are ramifications to this. And overall, we have to keep the standards high. The PGMOL, as I call them, are an absolute joke. The refs they put out on their pitch are an absolute joke. We saw the controversial one with Arsenal the other week, where even though they won that match, their whole fan base was kicking and screaming and crying. So why shouldn't we? Because I look at that goal and I do think it had an impact indirectly on the Bournemouth game the following week. What do I mean by that? Forest, it felt after that goal was disallowed and then we let in a second and made it 3-2. It felt like suddenly there was this wave of pressure from nowhere that we haven't seen in weeks because of the scoreline. It was only like, yo, Southampton, with all due respect to them, and I do have respect for Southampton, they might be able to get something out of this game, but they're meant to be that team at the bottom of the table who are going to break Derby's points record. We cannot give away any points to them. And we conceded that second goal. And then there was this wave of attack from Southampton. And if, Aina hadn't been on the line to clear it, they would have gone away with something. And this would have stuck on the point that Forest didn't go 4-1 up. 4-1 versus 3-2 is a huge difference. I'm sure we can all do that maths. And I think that second half performance carried over into the Bournemouth match. Let's say Forest did go 4-1 up against Southampton. And let's say they went enough, we scored another goal and went 5-1 up. That buoyancy, that good feeling would have carried on into the Bournemouth game, and we may have seen a different outcome. So I do really honestly think, inadvertently or subconsciously or whatever the right word is, this had an impact on Forest's performance. And this didn't cost us points in that game, but did in the subsequent game. Now, you might say this is me making excuses. I ain't saying Forest would have gone and beaten Bournemouth. We all know the bogey team syndrome that we've got with them. But imagine it happens again. Imagine it happens a couple of games down the road in a significant match. Let's say when we play Arsenal, who are literally next to us in the table, and they get a decision like that, and it costs us 3 points or a point or 2 points, whatever it might be, then people will be in uproar. I say we need to maintain a consistency on this and call it out for how poor it is, and the PGMOL need to be held to account and better standards. It is not okay to get these decisions wrong. But what are your thoughts on it? Let me know in the comments down below. Now, just to touch on something else as well, the semi-automated offside system, which has been working well in international competitions in Champions League, which was meant to have come into the Premier League this season, which Howard Red-Webb then told us is delayed until around Christmas time, and we haven't seen it since then. They are now telling us that they will be bringing it in towards the end of the season. They fixed whatever bugs are in it, and it is now ready to be put in towards the end of the season. I'll believe it when I see it. The fact that you've seen Champions League, Europa matches, international games, all being able to have it implemented already. And you are telling me that the richest league in the world hasn't been able to almost nick this system or buy it off whoever it needed to be and just copy and paste it in is quite frankly embarrassing. We saw it this weekend with Forest against Brighton. I was there. It took about 4 minutes for them to say that Chris Wood was onside. And when I saw that footage later on, it was like this clear onside, man. Like, what takes them so long? Move on to the technology, because PGLOL, you are a joke. All right, so as we told you guys a couple of weeks ago, Forest were going away to Dubai for some warm weather training, and that's exactly where they are now. And Forest have been releasing some pretty good videos, to be honest, on the training sessions, the camaraderie, a few screenshots of Dubai and B-roll and what have you. And this is really good. I am actually very pro this Dubai warm weather training thing. I think it gives the play, it's almost like a mini pre-season. We saw how well Forest did pre-season in the summer just gone under Nuno, and how that kicked us on into this season. I know there are people who have opinions that a good pre-season doesn't necessitate a good season, but you know what? It has worked so far. So I like this idea. I like this bonding of the players together. I like this closeness they've got, and the idea that they're training in warm conditions. I think it was Tuffalo in the video said, you know, this is the prettiest he's ever seen the training ground, or Nottingham, or something like that. So they're away for this. They will of course be coming back before our next game, which is Exeter, and then we got Fulham in the cup as well. And I got told that Nuno's funding quite a lot of this, and this is something that he's done before in his time at Wolves. He really believes in this. Like, for me, it's more like Nuno's belief in this is that it's a mentality break for the players to take them away from the pressures of the Premier League, from the pressures of this title race, top four race, whatever you want to call it. This is the perfect timing for it to happen. What we'll find is it re-energizes them, it bonds them better. It's not just, a piss up going away to Dubai. Not that you can technically do it in an Arab country, but you know what I'm saying. So for me, this is very, very good. And the other thing I want to mention is that Callum Hudson-Odoi has been in these training videos, training on the pitch. So his injury, we're hoping, and I can't confirm for sure, this is just visually what I've seen, is that he should be short term, or at the very least already back into full recovery mode. So that's great news as well. Murillo was out there, so it doesn't seem that there's too many injury worries right now for Forest. In fact, if Callum Hudson-Odoi and Murillo are back, this could be the first time for a long time that Nuno has a full squad to select from. And this is something we got told by my mate Dazzling Dave from Always Wolves, is that Nuno has this thing, the way he works with his team, that injuries, and a lot of injuries, are not something that happens under him. Under previous regimes and previous times, we saw Forest with loads of players out, and we're all like, when's Niakate coming back? When's Mangala coming back? And what have you. Yes, we have had that with Sangare and Danilo, but outside of that, the injuries have been very quick or very short term. So you have to credit again Nuno and his medical staff for the way they handle the treatment of the players. So that's the Dubai training. That's the Dubai warm weather camp updated on. We'll let you know if there's any interesting stories coming out of that. That's the old PGMOL story as well. Get your thoughts in on all of that below. And we will have a video coming up for you shortly where we got one of our mates, a real expert on the kids that Forest have signed in this transfer window, so you guys get to have a better idea of what to expect from them. If you haven't already, please don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new here, and if you can support us on Patreon, please do so. And as always, we'll give a shout out on the end screen to all the Patreonies. Thank you for watching. Come on, you Reds.